Hello, welcome to Progressive Perspective. uh, so the strangest thing happened last Wednesday. Another historical event. So long story short, Melvin and Melvin Capital was shorting GameStop, and so Redditors banded together to invest into GameStop and screw over Melvin and Melvin and nearly killed it. They had to go begging other billionaires to save them. And so they'll live to fight another day, but this is great news. And it's really fun. What were you guys' reactions? Because I seen like someone on Facebook say this whole GameStop situation will probably lead more Wall Street reform than the whole 2008 crash.
I have zero thoughts.
I would say this has probably been, it was the most exciting thing I have seen in a very long time. Just cause like, I don't know, like hedge funds manipulate the market all the time. That's like what they do, their MO, and they shorted GameStop. I think it was like at some ridiculous, like $1.80 or something. They were $2 or I don't know, somewhere they shorted it at $2 or something, some ridiculous low number. And we're already trying to sell the stock at $2 in front, you know what I mean? And then these people bought it, drove it up, and so they had to cover that loss or that difference, you know what I mean? So the more the stock rose, the more they had to cover, and it was somewhere at the tune of just billions of dollars. They just got eaten up.
Yeah, they just got effed. I love it. So for anyone watching, when a hedge fund shorts a stock, they're betting on that stock to fail. So they're betting that GameStop is going to fail. And when you short a company, you essentially squeeze it out of existence. So when GameStop needs capital to borrow to avoid bankruptcy, if you short it, you don't have access to that capital. And so Melvin and Melvin was shorting them like, damn, I think it was 100% or like something crazy near that.
Yeah.
So
they were already selling, I think, at 140%. So if they were betting on it to drop down to this level, and when it dropped down to this level, they were already selling it 140% of it at this rate, at this low rate, you know. And so like they totally expanded their footprint on it, dug themselves in a really deep, ugly hole, and Redditors just come in and just held onto it. And so they were stuck holding the bill on that one, man. And it was cool. But one thing that I didn't like though was that was how the app Robinhood, when I first heard about it, I was like, cool, you know, Robinhood, yeah.
Oh, it's done.
Yeah, take it out. But when they stopped allowing people to continuously buying the stock, froze all of it, where you couldn't even find it on their app or buy it anywhere, whatever like that, but you could sell it, which means that they could. So like the day they did that, the price dropped back down and then probably covered some of the losses of the hedge funds so that they can wipe themselves out of the mess. Just kind of, all right, we'll eat that loss and take a step back. But they dropped that price down so they couldn't sell it, or you couldn't buy that stock to keep driving the price up. So they manipulated the stock the day they stopped. Robinhood said you couldn't buy the stock or whatever for whatever reason, and just manipulated the stock anyways.
The invisible hand of the market, my ass.
Yeah.
I even saw that they were selling stock without the user's permission in some cases. So like it's just total horseshit. And it took not even like a couple hours for them to do that. They didn't wait a day. They didn't wait at all. Like, oh, poor people are getting money. Those poors, stop it. Put a stop to it.
Yeah, and so like Robinhood is a free market trading app. And normally, if you're going to buy and sell stocks, there's a little tiny fee that goes along with every exchange. And
But Robinhood doesn't do that.
yeah, so
They usually just sell their users' data.
Yep, they sell the users' data to see, you know, what are people buying, what are people selling, follow trends, and they sell this data to like hedge funds, you know, like, and that's how they pay to keep the app free. And
Hedge
there was
funds or Facebook or
Yep.
you name it.
And what I also don't like, okay, so all the Robinhood people got angry and upset and went on Google and gave them all 1-star rating, just thousands and thousands of 1-star ratings. And Google went and took all of them fucking 1-stars off, dude.
They deleted over 1,000 1-star ratings to try and salvage Robinhood's reputation on the game store.
Yeah, but it wasn't just so like GameStop or GameStop stock or whatever.
GameStop shock.
GameStop stock.
That's it.
Yeah. So GameStop stock. So it wasn't just Redditors weren't just attacking the GameStop stock. They went in, some people, really brilliant people, looked around, looked at the market, looked at the stocks, and seeing that these hedge funds were heavily betting against these companies. One of the major ones was GameStop. And so it was AMC movie theater, Bed Bath and Beyond, BlackBerry, Nokia,
Blockbuster.
You know, yeah, you know, and they were just shorting these stocks, you know, and like they bought all in on GameStop, and it was crazy because like there was a guy that I watched his YouTube video from 7 months ago. His YouTube channel is Roaring Kitty, and he talked about, hey, the stock here, you know what I mean, is way undervalued, like significantly, and he ended up buying like $700,000 worth of the shares, and that turned into $13 million today. And he made a video about it, like, why are they shorting, like, why is this stock so little, like, what's going on? And he made a video about why this stock was a good investment, and he was just like, I don't know, like, he just made out like a bandit on this whole thing, and he made this YouTube video 7 months ago talking about this stock, about
So
why
he was in quarantine. It was already had the loop on it. That was Roaring Kitty.
That was his YouTube channel, yeah. And he said, so there was this significant guy that bought a bunch of GameStop stock, and he became a board member for GameStop. And so like this guy seeing that was like, hey, the price keeps dropping and they're trying to squeeze it out. And this significant player just got on the board and bought a bunch of the stock. Like, I don't see what's going on here. So, you know what I mean? Like, it was just, I don't get why that was such a big shock to these hedge funds about them using the tune of like billions of dollars.
Well, these hedge fund managers, they were never the smartest people in the room. They were never like, they just have friends in high places and they can manipulate the market and they can just cheat their way to the top. They're not gambling, they're earning in as far as they're concerned.
The poetic justice thing that I seen this was that, okay, so with the CARES Act, it was the largest upward transfer of wealth ever seen on the planet, like just to the tune of trillions of dollars went to these big players in the game, create quote unquote job makers or job creators or whatever, just largest upward transfer of wealth while leaving the working class, the normal person, out of it. And so now you see the working class putting it to the big man, and they're like, oh, you even have the stock exchange, New York Stock Exchange executive director guy, or the dude that runs that show, calling for regulation and blaming it on social media. And it's just
so blatant. It's just so blatant. They've been doing this for longer than I've been alive. And now that the little guy is finally getting some, now we need regulation. What happened to the free market? What happened to the free market?
And so that is the reason why Elon Musk is so wealthy. Because so like when he started Tesla and all of this, they kept shorting him. They kept shorting him and shorting him, and he just kept buying up more and more short shares, investing in himself. And the big market doesn't want to see electric companies coming in, with a fossil fuel energy, gas, oil, you know what I mean, coal, all this, whatever. And so they were trying to squeeze out Elon Musk and his electric company and Tesla and all this other stuff like that. They kept shorting him, and he just kept succeeding, kept pushing forward. And they ended up creating one of the most wealthiest men on the planet almost overnight. You know what I mean? Like,
I think
he started PayPal first and did he had a lot of capital going into it, but the more they bet up against him and they kept shorting his stocks, and that just drove the value because he kept succeeding, and it was just like, so he stuck it. So that's why Elon Musk is big on the GameStop stock, like he's like, he's for it.
There was just no friggin' reform on the 2008 crash. I mean, there was Dodd-Frank, but that was largely useless, meaningless. Well, we'll just slap you on the wrist. Barack Obama, when he was campaigning, literally went to Wall Street and in transcripts said, I'm the only thing keeping you away from the pitchforks and torches. That's an actual quote that he said to them.
Yeah.
And it's just so friggin' sad. Kitty, no.
So I have a question, side note of all this. What do you guys think of Marjorie Taylor Greene? Am I saying her name?
I think she's a lunatic, and I think she's a feature of the Republican Party.
Marjorie Green.
Marjorie
Taylor Greene.
Oh my God, she is nuts. Literally like that meme I sent you with her mask on, syphilis killed my brain cells or something.
Yeah.
She's nuts.
Yeah, she's nuts. She's also the feature of the Republican Party. That's who they want to be. That's where the base is. She'll win re-election easily. She'll win her primaries. They've gone.
What is that with her Jewish lasers and stuff?
Jewish lasers. I read that and I'm like, I'm not investigating that. I'm not looking into that. Like,
I'm not gonna fry my brain. I'm not gonna take a hit of that. I don't know what's in there.
Predator Pizza Hut. And I was like, no, I'm never diving into these friggin' QAnon conspiracies ever again.
Yeah. So I know that there was some sort of bill or resolution going through today that they're trying to take her off a bunch of her committees.
Which will probably succeed.
You think they'll take her off all these committees?
Yeah, the legislation will pass. Republicans just don't have the votes in the House.
Yeah. But do you think that sets precedents for the future?
I mean, if lunatics, yes, it'll set precedents for the future, but it depends who's holding the reins of power. If it's someone with credibility, with integrity, they won't be like, well, I don't like you, so I'm just going to use this to kick you off your committee assignments. But oftentimes it's not someone with integrity. I haven't delved into the legislation. Hopefully it's just specifically towards Marjorie Taylor Greene, and being like, if you incite a riot in the Capitol, you cannot sit on a friggin' congressional committee hearing. I need to dive deeper into the specific bill that was put forward.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just was seeing today there was some sort of hearing, and I just caught the end of it.
Did you see that video where she's following David Hogg, the survivor of the the shooting in Florida? She was following him around, calling him an actor, calling it a false flag. She doesn't think that shooting was a real shooting.
Wow. Yeah, I
just following around this like 18-year-old kid and just harassing him. And I think this was from before she was elected.
Yeah, so I watched them ratify the election results, Joe Biden and Mike Pence resided over the whole ceremony or whatever that thing that they do. But her very first speech in the Senate or whatever was in opposition to Joe Biden. And not only that, I seen that she introduced a bill trying to impeach Joe Biden on day one. Like it's just like, and so here's another question I wanted to ask you, Basil, you personally, okay? So Donald Trump is the Republican Party. He is the face of it, and it is Donald Trump's Republican Party right now, right? And so even with the insurrection and everything, so the Republican Party is basically tattooed to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Now moving forward, them being tattooed to Donald Trump, that cost them the House, the Senate, and the presidency. You know what I mean? But he is still the biggest thing smoking in the Republican Party. And if you are Mitch McConnell, right, and you're looking at midterms, if you're Mitch McConnell and you're looking at midterms and you're looking at the 2024 election, if you are still tattooed to this to Donald Trump like the Republican Party is, do you vote to impeach? Do you vote or because there's talk about him running again in 2024, and there's talk about him starting a third party, the Patriot Party.
Yeah.
So looking at all of the variables that are in play right now, what do you think the Republican Party is going to do in 2024? Are they going to are they going to still continue to tattoo themselves to the you know what I
so
mean?
there's a massive split within the Republican Party right now. There's the barbaric, corrupt Trump folk, and there's the barbaric, there's the just normal, corrupt, shitty Republican folk like Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz.
Mitt Romney.
Yeah. So it's either barbarism or elitism within the Republican Party. That's your choices now. If I'm Mitch McConnell and I'm like 87 years old and I don't see any great scenarios for the Republican Party moving forward, it's a tough road, I retire and I let some dipshit under me take leadership, and I ride off into the sunset. I made everyone's lives terrible. Yay, me. But that's what I do if I was Mitch McConnell. As far as like the base loves Donald Trump. If Republicans impeached Donald Trump, they wouldn't have it. They'd leave the party en masse and start their own racist demagogue party. Republican politics for the future looks pretty dark with shifting demographics. The next generation, my generation being millennials and Gen Z, are massively progressive. So they're fighting a losing battle. And the only way they can win is if Democrats let them. Like right now, like in Georgia, they promised $2,000 checks, and now they're trying to give that all away. We didn't actually want to do $2,000 checks. We just wanted you to vote for us.
Yeah. We meant 1,400. We didn't mean right away. We meant in April or maybe March.
Maybe. Actually, just bootstraps. Here's some bootstraps. We still have to deal with these wannabe Republican Democrats. And that could just sour an entire generation on the Democratic Party, and they could splinter off and go for a different solution. I hope they don't do that. I hope we just invade the Democratic Party, and in 10 years, the Democratic Party is looking a whole hell of a lot more progressive because the older conservative Democrats will will die off.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Crystal. Who do you think is going to be the Republican nominee in 2024? Do you think that Trump is going to play nice with the Republican Party and step aside, like, hey, you cost us this election. We have a candidate. Will you endorse them? Will you campaign for them? Will you drag them into the fold? Or do you think, do you think that Trump will start a third party if he can't get the nomination? And do you think that he is running in 2024?
I would like to say that I don't think he's going to run in 2024. Well, I'm hoping to say that he can't run in 2024.
To run from prison.
Yeah. I don't know who. I honestly don't. I guess I've never thought about. I don't think about the Republican Party, period.
Yeah.
That's a tough question anyway. In 2012, would you have thought that the Republican nominee for 2016 is probably going to be Donald Trump? No, you fucking wouldn't have. You're a liar if you say that. We don't really know. As far as Donald Trump running, Senate's not going to impeach him. He'll probably be able to run through that way, and I doubt Joe Biden is going to really press the issue on charging him with anything, because again, Joe Biden's a puss, and he wants unity, and he wants healing. That's code word for I don't want to do shit. But as far as like contenders, you had Donald Trump's in there, Tom Cotton's in there, Ted Cruz is probably in there, Lindsey Graham will probably give it a shot, Marco Rubio, Ben Carson will probably jump in to promote his friggin' books again.
Yeah, so I just know that, so like Donald Trump is the bull right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's got the
He's the
juice.
it.
Yeah, and so like thinking in terms of if I am the Republican Party and I have this just demagogic pariah creature floating around the party that just don't listen to nobody, in it for himself, but yet
And your priorities are specifically towards the Republican Party and not policy based.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like
what's the best path forward for the Republicans?
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure this because, like, you know, like if he is still the best thing smoking, and he has loyalty, and he is still the best thing for cable TV and news TV and mainstream media, and he just draws so much attention. I'm just thinking, but yet he has cost the House, the Senate.
It's a tough question because on one hand, if we split from Trump, most of our base is just gonna light us on fire, and we probably will lose them forever. On the other hand, if we just keep ourselves attached to Trump, we're not going to be able to win any general election like for the rest of the next 20 years.
Yeah.
They've really gotten themselves into a shitty situation, and they deserve it. You know, that's what happens when you demagogue for 30 plus years. Donald Trump is a perfect reflection of the Republican base. He is dumb, corrupt, hateful, spiteful, and just a ton of other things you could say. He's just a perfect reflection of what they want. They chose him. They had 17 options in 2016, and they chose him. So that is who they've become. And I don't see them changing anytime soon. And I don't see them having any reason to change anytime soon because, again, the only way Republicans can win moving forward is if Democrats let them by dropping the ball, by just shitting the bed and sucking. There's an easy path where Democrats can just sweep in the future. But they don't have the know-how. They don't have the inclination. to do it.
Yeah, so like I'm thinking, I usually when one party wins the presidency at midterms, there is just this huge rally where there's just a like
The
they
opposition
take
party usually takes a bunch of seats.
yeah, they take a bunch of seats at midterms. And so midterms is coming up here in 2022 November, which is just literally just right around the corner in terms of organizing and building momentum and you know what I mean. So like already people are planning for the midterms and what is that going to look like. And so that's why I'm wondering, especially locally here, we have Pete Stauber and CD8 that's talking about running for governor. And so all of these different seats that are going to be becoming opening, it's this big elephant in the room. Like, what is this elephant going to do? And I'm thinking in terms of the best thing for the Republican Party would be for this elephant to play nice. You know what I mean? It's
That elephant doesn't care about the Republican Party. That elephant is a selfish orange prick.
I don't know.
Who will burn the house down to just to spite people.
I think he's gonna play nice, man. I think they're gonna get him under control, and he's gonna play nice.
He's not capable of it. That would be a selfless thing to do. He's a very selfish person.
So, I don't know. Let's see. And best case scenario for me personally is he starts a fucking third party.
Yeah,
Like,
I love
just,
that.
yes,
And
please
just splits
do
the
that.
entire Republican base down the middle.
Yeah,
I think it'd be less down the middle and more towards him because he's just their god now.
Yeah, so like that's for me is the best case scenario moving forward. Like I think that is yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna reattach himself to the Republican Party. He's still pissed at them that they didn't stick with him in the clown coup attempt. He's pissed at Mitch McConnell for not declaring him the winner. He's just a bitter son of a bitch, and moving forward, his action will reflect that.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Crystal, did you see that Instagram live video that AOC did?
So I have Instagram, but I'm not really sure what the hype about it is.
So she described her what was happening during the riot.
Okay, so I've seen some videos about it on TikTok.
Okay.
I can't stop at TikTok, but
and she was saying how she feared for her life, and I think she came out as a sexual assault survivor, which kind of blew up the internet. But I only saw small snippets of it.
Mm-hmm.
So but that whole AOC thing just melted my heart. I already got so much respect for AOC, and I literally can feel what she's talking about as a person of color being oppressed, and that I guess it's the trauma. I can relate to the trauma too. And how is it that this Capitol Police did not announce himself, especially when they let police through the barricades and letting people come into the Capitol, right? And most people that are in law enforcement are hogs, as Hassan Piker would say. He calls all Republicans hogs. So knowing that most people in law enforcement are Republicans, and there's this big Trump rally and Trump Republicans and Trump people coming at the Capitol, storming this and that, whatever. I could see why when he burst in and he said, screaming, "Where is she at?" You know what I mean? I could just feel the fear that was.
Yeah, I'd be scared shitless. I'd be like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she talks about to the Republicans about like, no, I'm not gonna play nice here. You tried to have me
You tried to
killed.
kill me. You
Yeah,
tried to kill. You incited a riot that could have had me killed. Work
And-
with you? You're not to be trusted. I'm not giving you cover for anything. You don't give cover to fascists. We don't negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah, and that ties into how much Secret Service Ilhan Omar has. So members of the squad, they just get so much negative press and propaganda pushed at them that I don't think we understand how much they go through as not only just women, but minority and a progressive and a predominantly white male. You know what I mean? Like, and so like the like that just got me thinking. That brings a whole nother element about like progressives and especially Ilhan Omar. Like, you know what I mean?
Because she is Muslim and she stood up to AIPAC and so she gets it from both ends, where she has the racist Republican like bastards just coming at her like 24/7. If you go to her Twitter and you just go into her comment section, you'll see like just an endless stream of hatred, and it's gross. And then you have it from like the mainstream Democrats who are like, she's not practical, she's not realistic. She fights for people. Why doesn't she fight for rich people?
She was just up at one of the water protector camps that were opposing Line 3 the other day. And she made this official statement calling on Biden to stop Line 3 and Dakota Access Pipeline. You know, and went up there and met.
Statement, but I know.
Yeah, it's like she met with other Native leaders and you know what I mean? Like and like I'm not gonna lie, I was a little apprehensive about Ilan in the beginning. Like I was like, ooh, the whole little Muslim tag thing, you know what I mean? Like it was just, I was like, ooh, you know, I was kind of skeptical
It's a
about
hot
it.
button thing.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then so but watching the courage that these progressive and progressive women put forward to argue and to fight for these progressive policies and calling these people out, and then to know the amount of fear that happens to them, even to a point where you can't even really, not sure if you could trust law enforcement. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
getting
it's-
death threats so consistently and so like vividly, and knowing that these people aren't always kidding and they truly wish that they could do these things to me.
Yeah. And I so like when AOC made that live video and I heard her talk about it and she explained the situation and what she went through, like I was just like blown away, and that just makes me want to organize and do everything I can for people that like not only like just like you, Crystal, you know what I mean? Like if like that makes me want to lift
Lift people up. Just mute and start cussing.
no no, so I don't know, but
People like me.
yeah,
What do you
yeah.
mean, you people?
Yeah, you people. I mean, you different creatures than I. I don't know, but that just my respect for AOC just went through the roof, and made me understand, you know, the fear that. So I don't think people realize the amount of fear that put in progressives when they attacked the Capitol. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
and Canada declared what the Proud Boys a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
And
Well, progressives in Congress really don't have a whole lot of friends on Capitol Hill. Because if you're doing your job right, in my view, you probably don't have, you're probably on a lot of people's shit lists. AOC on her first day in Congress kind of led a sit-in in Nancy Pelosi's office. That took a ton of courage. On her first day, she kicks out Joe Crowley, who was the fourth Democrat in the House, and so she already put everyone on notice. And then she goes straight to her office and is just like, "Fuck you!" Except she didn't really do that, but you know what I mean.
no, yes, and on so where do you live in Congressional District 8 there, Basil?
Yes,
So
you were talking about getting someone to run against Pete Stauber.
yeah, do you think there is any viable candidates out there besides Quinn Nystrom?
My auntie Val, but she probably, I don't see her wanting to do it.
Yeah.
But out of strong Native women that come to mind, my auntie Val.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't even know why I didn't think of that.
Oh,
So like Val Harrington, if you ever watch this, if you happen to watch this,
You have to.
we're calling you out. Yeah.
I love
I'm gonna
Val.
send this video to.
Yeah.
Do it.
But
I'll literally give her $100 and a can of Twisted Tea
yeah,
so she can hit Republicans with it.
I'll just bribe her into running.
Yeah.
Aside from Val, maybe Joe Radinovich, who lost to Stauber back in 2016, but I don't see him wanting to do it either, because in 2016 they ran so many negative ads against that poor guy. Wait, was it 2016 or was it 2018?
I can't remember. I just remember
It was in
seeing
2018 because that's
how they were bringing up like old drug paraphernalia charges. Like
he
people
just had a
don't-
bunch of parking tickets. Like, and they were making it seem like, oh, Joe Radinovich is a friggin' murderer. No,
Yeah.
It's
He's
from
from
all
my
this. And it came from all this. I believe it was from the Congressional Leadership Fund, which is like a right-wing super PAC, and they spent like, oh, Christ, what was it? Well over like several millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's what so Brad is sitting here and that's his friend, and they said they ran like $7 million worth of negative ads against him.
Yeah. And,
Brad.
hi, Brad. Nick Cage says hi. And
Nothing.
killing Nick Cage won't bring back your goddamn honey.
Is that a Wicker Man reference?
Yeah.
Is that a Wicker?
I'm
Yeah,
glad
did
you
get
got it.
I'm so confused.
I am too.
Nick Cage did a movie called The Wicker Man. It's a horror movie that turned into a comedy movie, though unintentionally. And in the movie, Nick Cage is getting held down by like a cult, and he just screams, "You're murderers! Killing me won't bring back your goddamn honey!" It's one of my favorite lines of any movie ever. It's so funny.
No. So, do you have any kind of closing questions there, Basil?
I mean, Pete Stauber,
It's a
whoever
douchebag.
runs against him has to aggressively fight him, because he's a bully in debates. He talks over people. He's very dismissive, and we like everything. I'm a broken record on this. We need Democratic candidates who aren't afraid to punch Republicans in the beak politically, who aren't afraid to just get up in your face and you're a bum, you're a crook, you don't belong here, you should not hold office, and we're just not afraid to put them to shame. And we need people who are going to actually fight them, not this patty cake horse shit.
Basil just wants to see somebody get punched out.
In the beak.
Yeah, right in
I
the
kind
beak.
of do.
Uh,
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the Progressive Perspective. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Crystal. We'll see you guys next week.
mm.